71 drivers in the shifter kart category for this, the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series. Victor Gruffstaffson, he took the victory a week ago in the WSK Champions Cup. He has been in superb form. He dominated qualifying, taking pole position with a time of 47.691. He will start on the front row. It will be an all-Scandinavian front row for the final in just a moment, but he's out of grid 2. Juha Valtonen takes pole position courtesy of his pre-final victory earlier this morning. Let's take a look at the highlights of KZ2 so far this week here at Adria. Fabulous to see the road racing rocket ships back in action here at Adria this week. Victor Gruffstaffson, kart number 1, the WSK Champions Cup champion, fastest qualifier. However, Simo Puhaka, kart 18, the reigning WSK Supermaster Series champion, in contention after locking up a couple of heat wins throughout the week. His countryman, Juha Valtonen, kart 24, will start on pole position in only his third ever KZ2 race. Francesco Cialenta, new signing for Paralin, rarely outside the top 5. Starts on the third row of the grid for the final. So many new signings. We've got the race debuts of the reigning world champion Jeremy Iglesias for CRG, along with Alex Irlando, also for the black and orange team. Alessio Piccini for Birla, first time out in 2021 as well. A beautiful day here in the north of Italy for round 1 of the Supermaster Series. Look at that, the sun is shining. It is 14 degrees Celsius as we approach with a degree of positivity. Actually, I'll use the word optimism, not positive. Optimistically, we approach springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere. You know why I said that. And it will be Juha Valtonen from Finland and Victor Gruffstaffson, the Scandinavians, on the front row of the grid for the final. 71 drivers here at the circuit this week. So many new team and driver signings throughout the off-season. And the race debuts, as we mentioned in our opener, the likes of Alessio Piccini for the Birla team. CRG, they are back and they mean business in 2021. As you look at the Scandinavian front row here in the north of Italy, to the right of your screen, out of grid 2 is kart 1, Victor Gruffstaffson, and Juha Valtonen from outside Helsinki in Finland, where you can guarantee the temperature is nowhere as near as nice as it is here this afternoon. Juha for Kart Republic, out of pole position. You look at the pole sitter, kart 24, TM powered Kart Republic, out of grid 1. On the podium in his KZ2 debut in the Open Cup at the end of 2020, and again a week ago as well in the WSK Champions Cup, which was won by Victor Gruffstaffson. Here is his mechanic, Ricardo Messana, former Super 1 racer back in the day. That was the 1990s. Took Victor, mechanicked him to victory a week ago, trying to do it again. From Bellissima Toscana, or beautiful Tuscany, Danielo Alvin, multiple Rock Cup international champion in the years gone by. He starts on the second row of the grid alongside Adrian Reynolds, former European champion, and also WSK Final Cup champion. That was in 2018 for the CPB Sport team. Riccardo Longhi, vice world champion for the Birla team, 58 on the third row of the grid, alongside Francesco Cialenta, kart 6 for Team Paralin. We are underway. Everyone leaves the grid successfully, which we'll take a look at for you now. Valtonen on pole alongside Gruffstaffson, Albanese and Reynolds. Longhi, Cialenta, the Italians on the third row. Then it's the Dutchman on the fourth row, Stan and Senna, Simo Puhaka, and the first race for Team CRG for Alex Irlando. Jeremy, the reigning world champion, first time out for CRG, is alongside Matteo Viganò, Marceglia, Bas Lemmers, Piccini for the Birla team, alongside Lundberg, Palomba, Trefilov in the Maranello, Lorenz Van Oppen and Moritz Ebner. Joey Van Splunteren alongside Petro Hilbrand, Daniel Vasile, Brad Benavides, the American-born Spaniard, then is Valentino Fritsch, should say, from Bavaria Pro Kart Wackersdorf Raceland, and a Dutch driver in Martin van Leven in the Energy, Giuseppe Fusco, Jean Louillet, Fabrizio Rosati in the Maranello, Thomas Imberg, Marcus Funda, Slavik Pudyata now with the Paralin team, George the Fisherman, or should we say Jorge Pescador, another CRG signing. The Argentine, now from Valencia in Spain, is alongside Kaya Sixnellis, the Lithuanian out of Grid 34 in the number 12 Energy. Victor drove perfectly last week. He was unstoppable. Starts out of Grid 2. Driving for the 2012 World Cup champion Jordan Lennox in conjunction with Ferrari's Formula One star Charles Leclerc, who himself finished second in the 2013 World Championships to still his great rival Max. That was at Varennes in La France some 8 years ago. Charles on that day driving for Armando Fellini's Art Racing team. And now he's got his own team in conjunction with Jordan. And a superstar driver from Sweden, Victor Gustafsson. Thank you for joining us here in the north of Italy at the world-class Adria Karting Raceway. The first round of the WSK Supermaster Series for KZ2. A Scandinavian front row of the grid. Juhal Valtonen to your left. And Victor, Kart 1 out of Grid 2. Our assistant race director, Mr. Marco Carlino, bravely stands in front of 34 shifter karts. He leaves the grid. And for the first time in the series, we race. Victor initially gets the jump, but then the wheel spin drops him back to third, potentially even fourth place. Juhal leads down into turn 2. It's a Kart Republic 1 and 2. Victor back to third. Danielo Albanese has gone through into second place. We've lost 3 at the start. Just in the background, one of the Tony karts, a CRG and a Kart Republic. It's Stan Pax. Stan restarts, but he's way down the field. And he's come together with Simo Puhaka and Jeremy Iglesias. Wow! 3 of the front runners, 3 superstars of world karting. The reigning world champion, Jeremy Iglesias, first time out in the CRG, has come together with the reigning Supermaster Series champion, Simo Puhaka and Stan Pex. What a sensational start to the final, which is being led by Juhal Valtonen. Stan crosses the line way down, half a lap behind in 32nd place. Jeremy struggling to scrape back to pit lane. He's off screen, he's at walking speed, he pulls into the pits. The reigning world champion is out. First time out for CRG, and Jeremy the Jet has been grounded. What a super shame, and we're looking for Simo Puhaka. He has rejoined. There's damage to the right side of the 18 Tony kart. He's still in the race. He'll be praying for a full course yellow. He's way down the field in position 33. Valtonen leads. Gustafsson goes back into second place. Once again, the Scandinavians assume position in first and second place. Back to Danilo Albanese, Francesco Cialenta. And then we're looking for Ricardo Longhi, Senna van Volstein, car 33. Down the inside, there is no space as Ricardo Longhi closes the door on the driver from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. The quietly spoken Dutch driver, so likable, so polite. He's meek and mild in the paddock behind the wheel of the CPB Sport Soddy Kart. He is ferocious. And he sits in behind the vice world champion of 2019 in the 58 Birolart, Ricardo Longhi. The order at the bottom of your screen, you just saw Jeremy Iglesias, 34, is out. So it's U-Haul from Victor and Danielo. Down into turn 2, line astern for the first 8 positions in this race. As Victor goes down the inside, and now it's the Swede who leads the Finn. Victor, Kart 1, goes position 1 for the Lennox Racing Charles Leclerc team. Puts U-Haul back into second place in the Kart Republic. This is ominous for Victor Gruffstaffson. He won here a week ago, the WSK Champions Cup, a messy start. He got too much wheel spin. He will shuffle back to 4th place, but he will complete lap number 4 in position 1. Kart 1 down through the Magny-Cours chicane here at Adria. Across the line, he's already got a nice lead back to U-Haul. Danielo Alvin, Francesco Cialenta, the Italian who lives just almost within walking distance of Circuito Internazionale Napoli-Sano, where we race the 3rd round of the series in 1 month's time. Francesco, he senses a podium's on offer here this afternoon. Behind is Ricardo Longhi, Adrian Reynolds, Senna van Walstein, the 2 Soddy Kart teammates, Matteo Viganò, Bas Lemmers and Alex Irlando now flying the flag for CRG in position 10. Gruffstaffson pulling away last time round at 48.246. We'll check the gap. It was just 0.2 of a second. Out to half a second now. He goes 47.982. So they're only 0.3 off their qualifying pace, and they will go faster. The Kart Republic's in 2nd and 3rd. And then Cialenta hounding them. In fact, he goes down the inside, tries to make room where there is none. Goes by and puts his countryman, Danielo Alvin, back into 4th place. The Tuscan is now off the podium. Cialenta in the Paralin. 2nd time out for the driver. For the team from Bassano del Grappa, not too far from here, the Adria circuit. He's now provisionally on the podium. Longhi in the Pirouette. He looks good here this afternoon as well. Down into turn 1. Cialenta under pressure from Albanese, who wants the place back. Cialenta Kart 6, the Paralin. 22 is Albanese from Florence or Firenze in Toscana. Dandielo, a step off the podium, the former Rock Cup international champion on multiple occasions. His teammate Juhal Valtonen goes through in 2nd place, looking at another podium in only his 3rd ever KZ2 race. The rest of the field go by. That was Van Walstein. Bas Lemmers also for the Soddy Kart team. The 2 Dutch drivers. Viganò, Irlando, Piccini, first time out for Pirouette. For the son of the legend, that is the 4-time world champion Alessandro Piccini. He helping his boy as Danielo tries to help himself back onto the podium up on the ripple strip. It did not pay off. Cialenta gave him 0 space, and Albanese had to just turn in, and turn again. Lost the engine RPM, and Ricardo goes by, and Renaud will try and take the both of them. Longhi loses out big time. Senna van Walstein also getting into that battle. There's 41, Adrian Reynolds, former European champion 2018. The same year he took the WSK Final Cup for the CPB Sports Soddy Kart team. His teammates, plural, Senna van Walstein, P7, Lammers in P9. The order at the bottom of your screen right there. Gruffstaffson the gap, 1.1 seconds. There's Irlando going through. Piccini ahead, Lundberg behind, both in the Pirouettes. Victor looks good as we approach half race distance now. Gruffstaffson, this is ominous. He wants it this year. That's the thing. You see it in his eyes as he walks around the paddock. He absolutely is determined to win in 2021, which he's already done, has moved, has relocated to live in the north of Italy to be closer to the team. Testing almost or virtually every week, if not racing as well, is Victor from Sweden. WSK Champions Cup champion. And he looks as though he will take the lead into the second round of the series, which for the KZ2 category will be at the all-new Circuito Internazionale Napoli-Sarno at the foot of the still active volcano that is Mount Vesuvius outside Naples in the south of Italy. 1.3 seconds from the Swede back to the Finn. There's Cilenta, Albanese, Reynolds. The first Birol art that you can see is Ricardo Longhi, who's back in 7th place now, being caught by Matteo Viganò. There's the second Charles Leclerc cut of Matteo, KZ2 International Super Cup champion. He won that title for the green team at Genk in Belgium in 2018. His teammate leads the way. Behind Matteo, that was Alessio Pagini, Alex Irlando, both with new teams for 2021. And they round out the top 10. Then it's Marsiglia, Lumberg, Palomba, Van Oppen, Fusco in the Lenzo car, Trefilov in the Maranello, Pescador, Vasile, Martin van Leven and Joy van Spunteren. The two Dutch drivers round out the 20. Jeremy Iglesias, Simo Pulhaka and Stan Pex coming together on the opening lap of the race. Jeremy and Simo out. Stan is still circulating, but he's way down in last place. Still doing quick times though. And just a few laps ago, joining them in retirement was the 2010-2012 World Cup champion from the Netherlands, Bas Lemmers. He is also out. Victor with 1.3 seconds. Back to U-Haul. Senna van Walstein, the fastest driver on the circuit at the moment. He's lapping even a 1/10 of a second faster than Victor. From Amsterdam in the Netherlands for the Dutch team of Paul Bizalion, CPB Sport, the Stoddy Kart Sigma. The quietly spoken Dutch driver in P6, Kart 33, comes onto the straight as Victor goes by into turns 1 and 2. Just over 140 k's an hour here at Adria, 142, 143. Depending on the track conditions, the tyre, the run, and even the slipstream coming onto the straight. There's Irlando. Behind is Pacini and Marcelli, and also Giuseppe Palomba. The Soddy Karts trade positions. Adrian does not fight. Senna goes through. He is the fastest driver on the circuit. So Senna van Walstein up into P5 now. A podium is not out of the question for the Dutch driver. The Swede in the lead down into turn 1. His name is Victor Gruffstaffson. He dominated the WSK Champions Cup. He took pole position on Friday, scorching around the 1.3 kilometre Adria circuit in a time of 47.691. He's only a 1/10 of a second off that at the moment. 47.757. Senna van Walstein, the only driver who's going faster marginally. Senna in P5. He's 3.3 seconds back to Victor. A victory almost out of the question. A podium is not. U-Haul goes by in P2. Good drive from Francesco Cilenta. In 3rd place from Albanese. A step off the podium. There's Senna in the background. His teammate Reynolds gets the toe down into turn 1. The Soddy Karts chasing down the Kart Republic of Albanese. There's the Birolati in the background of Ricardo Longhi from Emilia-Romagna. Former WSK Open Cup champion, taking that title at South Garda Karting Lonato. I think it was 3 years ago now. Indeed it was, 2018. Where we race the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series, April 25. We can't wait to go back to the centre of the karting universe, South Garda Karting Lonato, exactly in 1 month's time. But before then, we go south to La Concomuro Lecce World Circuit in a fortnight. And then the all-new layout, the all-new reconstructed Circuito Internazionale Napoli, simply known as Sarno. One of the fastest, one of the longest circuits in the world at the foot of the still active volcano. Yes, it is. which is Mount Vesuvius outside Naples in the south of Italy. Juho in second place. 0.6 of a second. Behind is Celenta. It doesn't seem as much, but when they race under the bridge, approaching 140 kilometres an hour, roughly 80 miles an hour for our fans watching on live in the United Kingdom and the United States of America. Two countries that just refuse to embrace the metric system. I say that in jest. Great to have your company here this afternoon, though. Victor and Juho and Francesco. 1, 2, 3, the dying stages of the KZ2 final. 1.3 seconds from Victor back to Juho. It looks as though he'll go 2 weeks in a row. This is incredible. Rashid Al-Daheri, he won the WSK Champions Cup a week ago in juniors, and earlier this afternoon, he won the first round of the Supermaster Series in juniors. Rafa Kamada did likewise in OK, and it looks as though Victor will do the same in the gearbox category as well. So just on 4 kilometres to race, the field have spread out. That was Matteo Viganò going through ahead of Irlando, the two KZ2 International Super Cup champions. Matteo having won that title at Genk in Belgium in 2018. As we lose one of the Maranello cars, that was Duffy Trefilov, who brought out the yellow flag. And Alex Irlando, who won it not on the last lap, but the last corner at Wackersdorf Pro Kart Raceland in 2017. Matteo in 8th and Alex in P9 as we start the penultimate lap of the race. The WSK Supermasters Series, the 16th year of competition for WSK promotion, the second biggest event in our history, despite the punitive travel restrictions still in place around most of the planet. 343 drivers from 50 nations here at this fabulous circuit, Adria Karting Raceway, built at the end of 2014, the all-new Adria International Raceway. Construction still going on up to FIA Grade 2 standards. Will host a round of the World Touring Car Racing Cup Championship in September later this year. A fabulous motorsport complex here about 1 hour south of Venice, as Victor is now on his last lap to go 2 weeks in a row. A perfect drive for Gruffstaffson. He'll take the series lead into the next round of the championship. Victor Gruffstaffson, Kart 1 for Jordan Lennox Racing, Charles Leclerc Motorsport. The Charles Leclerc chassis. He won the WSK Champions Cup a week ago. A faultless drive from grid 2 back to 4th off the start into the hairpin for the final time down through the chicane. Lennox Racing, Charles Leclerc, the super Swede Victor Gruffstaffson goes 2 weeks in a row, takes a fantastic victory here at Adria Karting Raceway. It's a Scandinavian 1-2. They started that way on the grid for the final, although the order was inverted. Juho started out of pole, he finishes second. Victor started on grid 2, takes the victory, and Francesco Celenta, the new signing for the Paralin Motorsport team, on the podium is the Italian in 3rd place. The fight never materialized. They had nothing for Victor. Fired up for 2021. He has taken the 2nd victory in a row. And again, we will hear the national anthem of Sverige, Sweden, here this afternoon in the north of Italy. These are the results. Victor from Juho and Francesco, that's the podium, 1, 2, 3. Albanese home in 4th. Senna van Walstein consistently fastest lap after fastest lap. The Dutchman, the top Sodi card ahead of Longhi, Viganò, Irlando, Marseglia, and Adrian Reynolds home in 10th place. So Victor Gruffstaffson now with 89 points in the championship from U-Haul on 68. And Danielo Alvin, he's third in the series on 41 points. Next time we race for KZ2 will be at Circuito Internazionale Napoli, simply known as Sarno, the all-new Sarno, in a month's time. Stay with us on WSK.IT. Again, Victor to stand on the top step of the podium here at Adria Karting Raceway. The podium for KZ2 as the drivers make their way up here. And at the top step of the podium, it will be Victor once again. He's had a fantastic start to 2021. Third race in KZ2, and Yuho again on the podium for the third time. The Vega caps go on. And we're ready to get underway with the podium presentation. In third place for the Paralin Motorsport team from Italia, Francesco Celenta. In second place from Finland for Kart Republic, Juho Valtonen. For the second week in a row from Sweden for the Lennox Racing Charles Leclerc team, the winner of the first round of the WSK Supermaster Series, Victor Gruffstaffson. The national anthem of Sweden. The podium for KZ2 in third place, Francesco Cialenta, Juho Valtonen from Finland in second, and Victor Gruffstaffson wins again here in Adria. Stay with us on WSK.it. We have got 10 laps to race. The 60 mini final in just a moment.